So hello and welcome to day 3 of the Captain's Vlog. It's Sunday the 6th of July 2014 and the weather is changeable. It's quite warm. It's apparently 24 degrees according to my temperature reading in the cockpit here. It's rather humid, but the rain comes and goes. It's very grey and gloomy. Not hard rain, we had some rain overnight, but today it seems more light showers, and that's annoying because I can't take the canopy down. Now I can just about manage to do these roof panels, but the stuff behind me, as you can see, that requires sort of a little bit more time doing zips and bungee cords and so on and so forth. And it's great if you've got crew with you that you can just say, oh, could you put the canopy up, and then the rain comes on, could you put the canopy down? But alas, I am on my own on this trip, so it's easier to leave it down until I'm sure the rain has gone. So we had a couple of problems with the boat. First of all, something that sounded very simple turned into quite a job, which was the shower wouldn't drain away. And so I just thought, well, it's the sort of shower that drains into a box, and inside the box is a pump, and the pump then pumps the contents of the box out. Thus there's no need to press a button to empty the shower tray. So anyway, I thought it was just the pipe to the box was blocked. So I called Brinkcraft, who I have to say, really helpful on the phone. Dan, the engineer, he knows so much about boats. You can just tell someone that's got a passion for boats, but also knows stuff about boats. So he arrives, I'm in Beccles, I've phoned Roxham. He arrives, I wasn't really keeping track of the time, but it wasn't a long time. It was clearly he'd left Roxham after putting the phone down, not sort of, you know, sometime after. So he turns up, and I thought to myself, well, you only got a couple of screwdrivers, I'm not sure how much that's going to get you. Little did I know that about an hour later, half the boat was sort of pulled apart, and the shower was indeed blocked, but in 3 different places. So it had to have the pump sort of flushed out and prodded with things and poked with things. Anyway, I felt very guilty because he came all pristine in his Brinkcraft polo shirt and left looking rather sort of dishevelled after spending a hot afternoon in the bilges of a boat. The other issue was the engine running a bit hot. This boat doesn't have those kind of weed filters that you can just unscrew and look at the little thing. It's huge. It's like the top of it's about as big as my fist. And basically, he undid that, and inside that is probably about a sort of 5-inch diameter pipe. And that is where, obviously, you can check for the oil filters. Well, anyway, there was a few bits in there, but I think what's happened is the engine, over time, the heat exchanging unit that takes the heat from the engine works fine around sort of 1800, 2000 RPM, but above that, say 2200, 2400, I think that it probably has just some scale build up inside, and it's just not able to extract the heat. Now, it didn't overheat, I had no warnings, I just thought that's running a bit hot, so, you know, better mention it. So he agreed with me, and so basically, you know, I'm not going to be going charging around the rivers because I'm watching the fuel gauge creeping down, and I'm trying to save money and save fuel. So that's fine with me. But that was those 2 problems. Okay, so he went and he was really nice, and that was wonderful. So went into Beccles. I know there's not that many fans sort of, well there are, but some people sort of shun Wetherspoons as a pub, or a chain of pubs. But I must say, the one in Beccles, compared to the one I go to, my local in London, I ordered exactly the same food, and it was cooked perfectly. The egg was runny, you know, everything was just absolutely perfect, and even cost less than my one in London. So that was a bonus. So if you're in Beccles, do give Wetherspoons a go. I know it's a big pub chain, but if you want something reasonably priced and actually in this one cooked well, then give it a go. So back from the pub, back onto the boat, and I felt like, you know, after yesterday's epic sort of marathon cruise of 8 odd hours, that it was time for having an early night. So I went to bed. And a couple of hours later I got woken up by this beeping, and I was like, what the hell was that? You know, when you're on a boat and it's quiet, there's beeping, it's not a good thing. It's not like, oh great, it's got a building alarm clock. No. So basically this boat has two separate independent systems for the electricity, 12 volt and 24 volt. So things like the lights and the toilet pump and the water pump and stuff is 12 volts, but things like the fridge, the heater, that's 24 volts. And the 24 bank of batteries was reading 21.52 volts, and the fridge was basically draining the batteries down. So clearly after 8 odd hours cruising yesterday and not having watched television or, you know, done anything, just out, come back, we've got something going wrong with our battery bank. So I couldn't obviously start the engine, and I was on the wrong side of the yacht station to be able to have power hook up. So I left things as they be and turned everything off. Unfortunately this morning it wasn't too hot or, you know, mild of a night, so the fridge was still relatively cool. I think my sausages have survived, bacon and, you know, other bits and stuff. So I thought, well, Sunday, I don't want to call the engineer out again, I feel guilty. So I waited until about 8:30 and I gave him a call. Same guy, perky as anything. Yep, could you press this, could you do that? It's got a full battery monitor so we can see how many amps is being drawn, what percentage of battery capacity is left, how many amps the alternator is charging. So the charging system's working fine, but it looks like one of the batteries has conked out, basically. So the net result of that phone conversation was, and this whole introduction to day 3, is I'm on the move. I've left Beccles Yacht Station behind, and today's destination's Loddon. And when I get to Loddon, the engineer will gladly come and swap the batteries around. So, what have we learned from this, people? Well, problems happen. I've been coming on the Broads, doing these captain's vlogs for a while now, and I used to have problems in the past. In fact, I've got a bit of a reputation. Oh god, bad luck Robin. But actually, in recent times, I haven't had a single problem with anything. So, it just can crop up, you know, oh, there's a problem. But it's about how a company resolves that problem and deals with you as a customer. And I can't say that, this sounds like I'm going, I can't say they did it very well. No, I can't say that there could have been anything more that Barnes Craft could have done for me. Because from the initial phone call to the guy coming all the way from Beccles from Roxham, I was impressed. So, yeah. What's going to be happening today? Well, today we're going to be going all the way to Loddon. Now, if regular viewers of the blog will know, we did this trip on Song of Freedom back over Easter, and unfortunately I think the same thing is going to beset this trip, because I was so, you know, dealing with things to do with the batteries and blah blah blah, I didn't bother looking at my tide tables. By the way, this is the new Broads Authority tide table book. It costs £1. What happened? Last year's was like nice and teal green. This is like warning, Broads timetables. We've got to do them really high vis. Anyway, I haven't checked, so I think what will probably happen is that en route we're gonna go against the tide. And it would have been helpful to have worked out when to have left, to have taken the, you know, outgoing tide down, but, you know, hey ho, can't do everything, can you? But just to basically fill you in, we're going to be taking the River Waveney to St Olave's, but we're not going to go under St Olave's Bridge. We're going to take the Haddiscoe New Cut, and that meets up with the River Yare. And then we'll turn left at Reedham, and we might stop off at Reedham for an ice cream and a drink in the probably not open shop. Okay, So we'll pass through Reedham, and then we will take the River Yare on the left hand side, and we'll go to Loddon, and I'm hoping that there will be a space at the stake. There's two reasons for this. One, because obviously the engineer can get there easily and park his van, and two, there are electric posts, and I bought two £1 electric cards so I can plug in there. It's going to be a reasonably long journey. Last time I did this, we came to Beccles from Norfolk Broads, spent the afternoon in Beccles, left Beccles and went to Loddon. I can't remember how long that took in all. I think the Beccles to Loddon part was about 4 hours. I'll check on that, don't trust me, I'll check, I'll tell you in a second. So I just checked my handy chart here, which lists the times. Oh, it wasn't bad. It's listed as being around about 4 hours and 20 minutes. So we'll probably take a bit longer than that because we're going to be probably going against the tide and I'm not going to be revving the engine too much. So we're having a nice day cruise. So our cruise today will be to Loddon, and then I can go in Loddon tonight. And then speak English. Anyway, again, the day is gloomy, it's not the best. I can't put the camera outside the boat. Even if I could only put it on the right hand side of the boat because I can't reach to turn it on and off on the left hand side of the boat, and most of the action appears on the left because that's where the other boats come past, and it's another reason why the helm's on the left hand side of the boat. So I'll capture as much as I can, but I'm sorry if this is turning into just a vlog of me talking, but it's difficult to show you really anymore. So sorry, blame Mother Nature and the weather and my choice of boat with the steering wheel on the wrong side, or as it happens. So just thought I'd share this with you. We're just on tick over, coming down the Waveney, and it's just so beautiful. It's like a really proper river. It's got reeds, it's got trees, it kind of doesn't have a defined edge. You know, the water just sort of goes through the vegetation. It's not a harsh bank, it's green, you've got lilies, it's quiet. This is a 6 mile an hour stretch of river, would you believe? But you don't need to do that sometimes. You can just take it real slow and just relax. Just like these people are doing coming towards me. And although probably the camera and microphones aren't picking it up, you can hear the bird song in the trees. Just a shame that the rain keeps coming back again. See, it's just a few spots are starting again. So unfortunately the rain came back with quite a bit of vengeance, and as you can see now it's just starting to ease off once again. Can't make its mind up, either rain or don't rain. Don't you just hate it when it's just like, I'm gonna stop, no, I'm gonna start again. I'm gonna start really hard and then I'm gonna just go fine, I'm gonna stop again. It's that kind of rain, you can't make its mind up. But as it's raining and you're pondering life and Sunday morning on the river, I did get thinking, and things happened when that happened. And I got thinking about these covers, these canvas covers that cover the roof here, and basically they're not the best things because over time they get torn and ripped. So anyway, polycarbonate sheeting. I thought, polycarbonate sheeting? I went for polycarbonate rather than perspex, and I thought, you get that, you cut it to the shape with a, like, I don't know, an inch extra, you put a rubber seal round, you glue down a rubber seal, right? You get 4 hinged clamps, then you clamp it down. It lets the light through, it keeps the rain out. But when it's a nice day, you unclamp it and you stow the whole sheet of polycarbonate. You could even have tinted polycarbonate, like that is there. Now these side windows here, they're polycarbonate, that's glass, and that's polycarbonate. And you can tell when you knock it, it's completely different. Because it would cost an absolute fortune to get curved glass, but relatively cheap and easy to get basically what's curved plastic. So anyway, that's today's thought for the day. But yes, I'm keeping things nice and slow, nice and sedate for the next half an hour. So we're doing about just a gnat's whisker over 1000 RPM. We're doing 3 miles an hour, and why am I doing that? Because that's better than, say, 1600 RPM and doing 5 miles an hour. This is a 6 mile an hour stretch of river. But anyway, fuel saving, people, equals money saving. I'm trying, I'm doing my best. You can do it, Robin. But I like the way that I've already worked out half an hour extra or 1000 RPM. Which adds up to an hour and a half at 1000 RPM. It all adds up, every little helps, that's what Haddiscoe say. Though maybe their financial people would wish that their profits weren't slipping. Or as it happens. So I thought I'd just update you as to where we are. I'll show you on the map, and there's been a change of plan. I'm not going to head off to Loddon anymore. I'm going to head to Reedham first of all, and I'll also show you why that is. But basically it's because the engineer can get to Reedham easier than to Loddon, because to Loddon he's got to get probably the Reedham chain ferry across, because he's going to be coming from the other side of the river, if you know what I mean. Or he'll have to go through sort of, I don't know, down through Great Yarmouth and out over St Olave's Bridge, and well, anyway. But it's not just that I've changed the reasoning for going to Reedham to begin, because our overnight destination has changed. Because I thought, well, if I just go to Loddon, I'm going to be there by about sort of 1:30, and then what? You know? So I think we're going to head towards Surlingham Ferry. It's going to be another long one, people. But it's a lovely pub. I love their steaks. I think it's got to be done. Let me show you on the map. Okay, so here is the map, and as you can see, the weather's still there, and I've checked the weather forecast, and we're basically going to have 90% risk of rain for the rest of the day in various amounts of intensity. So Sunday, which was looking mixed, is just basically going to be like this all day long. So looking at the map here, we are coming up to Castle Drainage Mill here. So we've done all of this. The time now is 10:24 in the morning, and the reason why we're doing very well is because I've checked with the tide tables. I always say that weird, tide tables. I've checked them. I've checked these things, right? Yeah, I'm on the ball. And I fell off it because it was round. And what I've decided is that we're on the start of an ebbing tide. And looking out the window, you can see that, you know, bits of foliage in the water is slowly, ever so slowly, but it's drifting in the direction that we're going in. And this is helping us. So we're going to come down here and then we're going to come down here and we're going to go here, and hopefully that will still be in the open position, or it will be 8'6", because if it isn't, that will be a problem. Then we're going to come here. Now we're not going to go down to Nino, it's going straight down the New Cut, just like that. And then we're going to get to Reedham, and then we're going to phone up the engineer to come meet us there, and then we're going to head off up down here, all the way, God knows, it's a long way, all the way to Surlingham. It is a bit of a distance, isn't it, whereas Lawson's just down here. Let's do the sensible thing and see what the time is when we get to Reedham and after the engineer's been, and then we'll see if it's Loddon or not. But anyway, that's basically what's happening and where we are, and it's still raining. More as it happens. Well, you join me here. There is the Waveney River Centre. The tide is going out there. And basically I'm on this, it's not really a mooring, there's some quay heading here. I spun the boat round and I've just come in. The tide is keeping me in, the wind is gently blowing this way, so I haven't actually had to moor up, you know, tie the boat off or anything. But the reason why I'm taking this opportunity to do this is I'm taking off the sides of the canopy because I've just had enough of being so closed in, and then I'm going to use it to cover over the seats. Even though the seats themselves are covered in a waterproof vinyl, it will just save some mopping up later, and that's my thinking anyway. But you see, if the sides aren't here, then getting on and off the boat is much easier. You've got a grab handle here, and you can put your foot there and out and then off down the side decks. But of course, when this is all here and you've got to go, right, let's just undo these here, right, right, let's unhook this, right, now let's, yeah. And if you just unzip the back up, then there isn't any real side deck here. It starts there. So it's hard to come round the back of the boat. Anyway, maybe this wasn't such a good idea, because since I've just been standing here, the rain's gone from to quite sustained. I don't know. I'm thinking about it because no rain's actually coming in the boat. This is acting as like an awning, but I can't really just have one side up. That's just like a lopsided buffoon. I'll have a talk with him upstairs, and he'll turn the rain off, and then I'll put my sides up and I'll get underway again. That's what we do. So just an update on the situation. Behind us is the Waveney River Centre, and it is now 23 minutes past 11. And I have a problem. I don't know my final destination for today. Loddon or not. I just usually don't moor up mid-afternoon and say, that's it folks. I'm more of a turn up somewhere later and do something, but so I remain undecided on that. However, there is good news. I have fresh air. I don't have misting up windows because we've got openings, and they are protecting the cushions absolutely excellently, and the rain isn't coming that bad. It comes, it goes, it comes, it goes. But at least I can get out of the boat easily, either side or the back. So that's the situation at the present time. Time to increase our revs. Reedham, here we come. So we just passed Alton Dyke, which leads to Alton Broads, and the heavens have opened like you wouldn't believe. So I've had to bring down the back of the canvas sides, but the side ones I've left off because they're valiantly protecting the seat, and I'll mop that off later. And the outside of the cockpit, in case you're wondering, is self-draining. It's not going to pull up with water. There's a couple of drains that take the water away. But if I left them in place, then it just mists up in here something chronic with the humidity that we've got today. and the water and the science. It's what it is, condensation and science. So we're making good progress, and just looking at the map. So really and truly it's going to be a bit of a slog to the New Cut, and in weather like this it's not the most scenic view out the window. It's green and grey. You can see my towel device still doing very well. On the left hand side of the picture you can see the white reflection, and then in the middle of the picture to the right you see the difference. So yeah. So more as it happens, guys. It's a bit of a slog today, just because of the rain, really, more than anything. Boating and rain, it just makes everything wet. No shit, Sherlock. But I mean, the ropes get wet, the grab rails are wet. You get off the boat, you touch something, you get wet. You know, it's a whole caboodle of things that happen. That's the word of the day, caboodle. Anyway, more as it happens. Well, just an update on the situation. It's now 11 minutes past 12, and I'm sorry. I felt that this, you know, series of vlogs, and I know it's only the third day, but you know, was going to be something a little bit better. And I'd bought these action camera here and this one here to try these out in different places and give you some different perspective shots and stuff like this. But I wasn't banking on the weather being quite as dreary as it actually is today. So yeah, I'm just basically sorry that, you know, from a viewer's perspective at home or on the go, wherever you may be, this vlog's not going to be the most like, wow, that was really cool and that looked really pretty. It's just, yeah, it was great and it was raining. So I'm still heading towards Reedham. Hopefully I can get in there, because when it rains a lot of people think, do you know what, we'll stay here today, or they just go a little distance. So, you know, popular moorings get very busy, or stay busy throughout the day usually. So we're making for Reedham, and probably our overnight destination will be Loddon, because going all the way to Surlingham will take a long time, and it won't be a very pleasant journey in the rain. So that's how I'm feeling about things at the moment. What else can you do except for get some tissue and put it there to stop drips? But another thing about when you come, you know, solo, wait a minute, I'm just being overtaken here. So this is something you have to be aware of on the Southern Broads. You'll be going along at sort of 5 miles an hour and you'll hear suddenly the wash of something, and then you'll be like, oh, right, okay, sorry, we're being overtaken suddenly. And they kind of creep up on you. This sort of thing doesn't seem to happen as much on the northern rivers. I haven't seen it as much this time round, but in the past there's been cases where I've felt the speed limits on some of the rivers, especially sort of like down towards Alton Broad and the River Yare past Reedham are more advisory to some boats. It's like, it says 6 miles an hour, but I want to do more than that. And also just seeing how some people are out there shunning the inside driving position. Come what may, I'm going to get wet. anyway, I was just talking about what you should do if you're sort of a solo boater. One of the things is you have to have everything that you're going to need within reach. So for example, in the morning before setting off, I've got the map, I've got the tide details, I've got spare batteries for the blog camera, binoculars, cameras, headphones, radio, sunglasses, tripods, phone, charger, cable, stand, clock, so I can keep track of what the time is instead of having to look at the watch or something. It's just nice, yep, it's 12:15, I know straight away at a glance. Then moving around here, provisions for drinking, alcohol, non-alcoholic, blowing your nose, mopping up spills, keeping rain drips off of you, sun cream, should the sun suddenly come out crazily, caps, similar reason, pillow, because on this boat this is a bit harsh, so you put that there, makes it nice and soft for long 8-hour journeys, and basically that's what you've got to do. So you haven't got someone you could say, well, could you just pass me the, or could you just get the, or do you mind taking over while I go and get, you can't do that. So anyway, we're coming through Somerleyton Bridge, it's in the open position, and the rain is once again coming down in big amounts, big rain. So anyway, if you're looking on the map, that's where we are, Somerleyton. So we're battling against the tide here on the Haddiscoe New Cut, and the weather's really closed in now, the wind's got up, it's got chilly. It feels more like an April day than July the 6th. Just one of those days when on a boat, I suppose the reality of boating comes to you, and you got drips and kitchen towel out and get this, do that, oh look it's grey, you know, whereas a bright sunny lovely day you can just think, oh isn't this lovely. Anyway, as I said earlier, there's not a great deal to report. We're on the Haddiscoe New Cut, it's raining, yeah. Unfortunately, it looks like Reedham Quay is completely chock-a-block. So, there's my plans for that idea out the window then. Hopefully, Loddon won't be. And now we've got half-cockpit cruiser Dodgems, Reedham style. So here we are, we're just entering the River Chet, and on my right hand side there's not quite so much greyness. It's still spitting with rain however, but it might be a nice end to the day. Anyway, I better concentrate on this narrow river in case someone's coming towards me. I'll update you when we get to Loddon Staithe, and hopefully unlike Reedham there will be space. More as it happens. So unfortunately Loddon's stave was completely chock-a-block, which is a pain because I've been in touch with the engineer a couple of times throughout today, updating progress. You know, was going to meet at Reedham, and Reedham was chock-a-block as well. So I've actually been able to come along from the stave to Pacific Cruises boatyard here, and so I'm not going to be staying around for too long and, you know, using their facilities and taking up their space, but just waiting for the engineer to come in. It needed to be somewhere easy with road access because he's bringing a couple of batteries, and obviously if I'd continued further down here to those moorings, poor old Chet would have had to have walked all across here with heavy batteries, which is not nice. So this is why we're here. But of course, where are we going to do for tonight's mooring? Now, I've just noticed on the shed there it does say Broads Hire Boat Federation member, Pacific Cruisers. So because this boat, Barnes Brinkcraft boat, is also a member of the Federation, it means that you know, overnight moorings wouldn't be a problem, and it's Sunday, so it's very quiet. In fact, the boatyard, I suspect, is closed as no one's about. But I just feel a bit guilty. Just an independent little boat like this taking up some space, so we'll see. Maybe we'll head back towards Reedham Ferry for an overnight stop, but it seems more busy around the popular moorings today. I think, as I said earlier, the rain's meant people have stayed where they are. So just to end off today's day 3 Captain's Blog, you saw during the day just how awful the weather was, and the rain just wouldn't stop, and look at it now. It's like it was a completely different day. Lovely evening. 10 minutes to 8 in the evening now, and I'm actually overnighting here at Pacific Cruises. I've had a lovely chat with the owner of Pacific Cruises here, and really friendly, decent people. It's actually why I'm staying here overnight, and I've got their brochure, and I may well be later in the year or maybe next year coming south and giving these people a hire. So if you want really good, down-to-earth, honest customer service, and you can just tell with some of the things he's talking about, the boats, improving them, you know, next year we're going to do reupholstery, new carpet, so on and so forth, just caring about them, giving a damn about, you know, the customer's experience. That matters. That's what stands out. So that's why it's convinced me that I should give Pacific Cruises a go. So if you're in the market for a boat, pacificcruises.co.uk, there's loads of pictures on their website of their boats, and what a really nice location to start your holiday from on the River Yare. So that's the end of day 3. I'm going to be cooking on board tonight, which leaves us to approach day 4 tomorrow, and I really don't know where we're going to go. I did think about, as I said earlier today, going down to sort of Surlingham Broad, Bargate, Brundle Way. I think that's probably what I'll do tomorrow, and then on Tuesday return north to the Northern Broads, but I might go back north tomorrow. I really don't know. I'll just see what the weather's like, how I feel in the morning, type of thing. But it's just been a really sloggy day today in the rain, and you know, the canopy, messing around with that. They're lovely on a summer's day, but when it's raining and stuff, it's not the easiest thing as a door or a sliding sunshine roof. You can just pull back when you need to and open when it's alright. So anyway, that's been today. A grey old day, but nonetheless you're rewarded with evenings like this, and being on a boat in a peaceful location is so much better than if you'd had to, you know, be doing the usual thing at work or around the standard place at home. So being away from it all is where it's at. So if you have been watching day 3, thanks a lot. See you tomorrow.